So today, I have with me for an interview the one, the only, the man of 1,000 voices, the myth, the legend himself, Ivan Recshun. How are you doing, my man?
Well, I tell you, dear son, that I'm feeling mighty fine.
All right then. Okay. We'll open with this. I can work with this. So, Ivan, who are you? What do you do?
That is the eternal question, is it not? Well, allow me to introduce myself in my most sexiest of voices.
I think you can do sexier.
Well, I could go ahead and put a Spanish accent on it if you really want me to.
There we go.
Hello, my name is Antonio Banderas, or as you might know me, Puss in Boots. My name is Ivan Recshun. I come from a long line of erections.
Oh, god damn it! God damn, no, I can't. Oh, I'm gonna be dead by the end of this. Okay.
To use my full name, I am Ivan Endowed Well Recshun.
Oh, come on! Son of a bitch!
Nobody ever asked about the middle name, but it's right there in front of them.
Oh, God, son of a bitch! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!
The fun thing is, I've had that middle name prepared for years, and not a single person has asked about it so far. But now you all know. You are all cursed with knowledge.
Wonderful. Who are you, and what do you do?
Apparently, I go ahead and make you corpse like nothing else.
Oh my god.
But
You voice act, right?
What gave you that impression? But yes, I am a voice actor. I would consider myself semi-professional. I am also something of a sound editor, a impersonator of many different voices, especially when it comes to these video games. I also do a little bit of writing and other things besides. I'm a person that loves to create, though I'm also, a bit tied up with work at times, so I can only create as much as I can.
But you are also, correct me if I'm wrong, a certain community manager of a very important Discord server and Twitter page that helps support adult voice actors. Am I correct?
Yes, and now is the time to get serious. So, I am one of the many moderators, and I'll go ahead and say this. I am the original founder of the Adult Voice Actors Discord server.
Okay, well, I've been dying to ask you this, because, that server is a big deal to a lot of people. It's a big deal to me. It's because of that server, I've been able to meet so many wonderful people, friends who I would consider family at this point. So I owe you a great debt of gratitude, Ivan, for what you've done here. So I need to know. Tell us the story. How did adult voice actors come to be?
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you one of my most serious voices. So, the Ava server, it originally started out of necessity. A certain amount of voice actors and myself had been uninformed of, or not kept completely in the loop of a production that we had been a part of. It went ahead and featured certain content we were not comfortable with. So we went ahead and made ourselves a impromptu server, just to go ahead and share information and keep track of everything. The details are a little bit dark, so I won't get too much into it. Just to say that a lot of people were not happy about the situation. And then everyone just sort of realized to ourselves, this is actually a good thing to have this little inner circle to go ahead and reference and have people to back us up on these different things this difficult time. So I went ahead and made the Adult Voice Actor server. And from there, it has grown and expanded to include many wonderful people that have turned it into the wonderful thing it is today.
Brilliant. But now putting the spotlight back on you, specifically, how long have you been voice acting?
Well, Sonny, I really don't like to think about that.
You're not that old.
I'm getting up there.
Ivan, you're not that old. How long have you been voice acting?
I've been doing it for nigh on a decade.
Holy shit, really?
Yep, I started back in the 2010s when I was about a youngin'.
Oh, okay. So tell me, back in 2010, what made you want to get started in voice acting?
Well, you go ahead and you play them video games and you think to yourself, that's pretty good what those people over there on them video boxes are doing. Go ahead and just listening to them, go ahead and go, and you think to yourself, I could probably do shit like that.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You can certainly do shit like that. That is very true. But I'm curious, is there a deeper passion behind it? Like, surely, like, once you got to know more about voice acting, you fell in love with the art and the craft. So why are you passionate about voice acting on this journey of becoming a voice actor? Like, what have you learned? What have you grown to cherish?
Well, to put it plainly and simply, when I was young, I was very interested in video games. And a particular video game series I had kept on changing, I was a fan of, kept on changing voice actors all the bloody time. So I had to go ahead and keep track of it. And I was just like, as a very young person, I was like, why doesn't he sound the same here as he did there? Like, it's all completely different. So I ended up going ahead and looking into it and finding out, oh, they replaced them. And then I saw it, and I'd always managed to get decent laughs out of my family and different friends with little impersonations I do of people off of the TV, and I found that I had a bit of a knack for it. And eventually I thought to myself, when I was a fan of like a certain comic book series, that I could go ahead and maybe give it a try and see how well I'd do at it. How well I'd do at it. And since I sounded older than most of the other people involved in it, I was about 15 at the time when I started this, but I was usually the person that would play the father figures or the authority figures, just because I had a bit of a voice that sounded more sophisticated and mature. I assure you it does not align up with the person that I am at all. But I just had that sort of knack of playing everybody's dad.
So that's why I've always been an old codger.
you, I'm sorry. Oh, the jokes. You're everybody's dad.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, I can't wait for everyone to make fun of you about this in AVA. I want you to change your name now in AVA to just VA Dad.
Well, that has been brought up before. One person did say once that I would make a great daddy, and I wasn't sure how they had meant that, whether it was in a sexual, a role play kind of way or something else, and honestly, I don't think I should ask too much of it.
Oh my. So tell me, you're obviously very skilled at this profession, a very professional voice actor, very well trained, but I'm very curious, where did that training come from? How did you learn all this?
I was self-taught mainly.
Oh.
I went ahead and saw interviews and such about how to do actual voices. And sometimes I would pick up little tips and tricks from watching interviews with the pros and certain things they would do, and that's been helpful. But for the main part, it has just been learning and attempting things. I would not advise doing that, by the way. Definitely go ahead and seek some professional help on how to do this. Because I am pretty certain the reason why I sound older is that I have done some permanent damage to my voice in the past. There are these things that you can get on your vocal cords called polyps. And they have the tendency to go ahead and make your voice rougher. They hamper your ability to sing. And I think that's why I can sound how I do, because I can go ahead and sound like relatively smooth with this kind of voice. But if I go ahead and also emphasize certain things, I can have a much rougher voice on me, like this, for example. And it does sound cool, I'll admit, and I'm not going to deny it. But at the same time, it can give you some wear and tear and cause you problems further down the line. For example, the voice actress of Marge Simpson in The Simpsons, she has suffered with vocal polyps for a while because she has to use such a rough voice for the character. And that's why she's eventually retired, because she just can't keep it up because it strains her voice so much. So definitely learn from the professionals about how you want to do this. Because if you go ahead and do it the wrong way, like I did, you could end up doing some damage to yourself.
That's very true. That's very true. Do you find people underestimate the voice acting craft?
I would say so. Because like there's certain people who think to themselves,
You know what? I can go ahead and do that voice acting malarkey. It doesn't seem that difficult to me. But,
then they go ahead and actually try it. And it's like,
Oh dear, it's much harder than I initially thought.
So you just have to go ahead and work with it, really.
Like, for example, you can think to yourself, you know what, I can go ahead and voice a little boy like this. I'm sure I make a convincing 7-year-old to people.
But then you just sound like some, asshole that has no idea what they're doing.
So me.
No.
Yes.
I say no one more time than you could ever say no.
Fair enough. So, tell me, Ivan, in all your years of voice acting, what to you is the easiest thing to pull off and the most difficult?
Well, as you might know, I'm British. So the easiest thing for me, dear, is to go ahead and sound like a arrogant, twisted bastard. So, a real villainous type. So if you have any devious plans where you need someone that can sound power-hungry and mad, like he's ready to take over the world.
Oh, I'm always ready to take over the world.
Yes, then you meet me on your side, dear boy.
Seamless. Absolutely seamless. Obviously, you've got that down, but what is the most difficult voice for you?
Well, that's the funny thing about it. So, even though I am a young and spry 25-year-old, no one ever believes I'm not young. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, I have gone ahead and trying to voice act for people using my natural voice that are like mid-30s, and people have told me, you sound too old for the part.
Oh, damn.
Like, it's just some of the energy I come over with. Like, I had it back when I was like 12 or 13. I'd be posting on forums and people like, geez, man, I thought you were 25. Like, I've always had that air or presence of someone that's older. Like, I don't sound young and ignorant and happy.
Ah, okay. So you find younger voice styles that, it's not that you don't try. You certainly do try, but for the casting directors, they just don't find you're young enough.
Yeah, like if I were to go ahead and try for like a young anime protagonist or something like that, like, hey, Hikari, we need to go ahead and find the Triforce now! It generally just doesn't come off as authentic.
Fair enough. I can understand that. It's a damn shame, but you're still trying your damnedest.
Yes, I'll just have to settle for being like Piccolo, or the anime antagonist just goes, Vegeta, I am here to destroy you!
It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, if I'm correct, Ivan. So tell me, what is the most fun about voice acting? What's the funnest thing about voice acting?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. If you have a good script, that's always fun. One of the most fun things I've ever done was an old age wizard in a comic book dub that I did with Ulay Tiger. Wonderful voice actress, by the way. If you haven't had her on the show already, get her.
I'd love to have her. I think I'm going to have to harass her about that. Please don't block me. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, it was an interesting thing because there was like an old man that meant to summon a succubus, but he summoned the wrong kind of like a demon, as it were. It was played by Ulay Tiger, and it was an interesting thing because
I had to go ahead and play this crotchety old man that went ahead and gave him this spell that gave him this vigorosity, as it were, and a giant throbbing erection.
Oh my lord!
I had to go ahead and scream out the most absurd things as I'm going about just ramming this woman.
Oh my god!
It really was a peculiar situation, but I have to say it was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Holy shit.
It was the only time in memory that I can think of where I actually had to stop because I was laughing too hard. But apart from that, the thing that's usually the best about working in this is when you meet other voice actors. Because, when you have a certain thing you like or a game you like to play and hardly anybody else likes it?
Yep.
If you go ahead and get two voice actors in a room, the first thing that they are going to do is try and play with each other. They will go ahead and do different voices, different impersonations, that different kind of thing.
That kind of play with each other. Okay. Oh, you had me worried there.
Ryan, you sick bastard. But yes, that's basically what we do. We play with each other. I will go ahead and I will go ahead and play with the men. I'll play with the women. Like, I'll go ahead and get someone like Silky in a call, and we'll be going ahead and doing like Californian Valley Girls. Like, hey there, baby. Have you? Hang on, like. Bitch, you don't know me. You don't know where I come from, and you certainly don't know what I am capable of, you little motherfucking bitch.
Oh my god. Oh man, I need to get you and Silky both in the same call, in the same interview. That will be delightful.
Yes, it's just generally all around an interesting sort of thing to do, really. You go ahead and try out all these different things, and just it's a sort of a mixing and sharing of ideas and all this kind of fun stuff you can do. It's like, well, all of a sudden you'll have, like, I don't know, Harley Quinn going ahead and saying the most absurd thing or whatever if Silky is involved. Or if I'm here, I might go ahead and say some crazy shit as Nicolas Cage. Or if I'm feeling like showing off, I might go ahead and narrate something in the voice of Morgan Freeman.
Oh my god, what the hell? What the hell? That's... Oh god. Okay, I promised myself I wouldn't spend this whole interview complimenting your voice acting. We gotta... Oh, okay, so tell me, Ivan, what is the worst thing about being a voice actor? What are some of the worst experiences you've had with this career?
Ooh. Perfectly honest, the worst thing that happened to me was when I first got famous in safe for work stuff. I'm not like famous, but in a small community I was well known. And the problem there was I was getting the exact same role all the time. And it was a generic commander guy. I would basically go ahead and take a sort of authoritarian voice and be like, sir, we need you guys to go ahead and find that APC point or whatever the hell you call it, capture it, and come back to base as soon as possible. I hated voice acting for a little while because of that. I was just doing the exact same thing. And even though it got me good recognition and I was in all these different projects, I hated it because there was nothing inventive about it, nothing creative. I didn't have to go ahead and even think that much about it. I just had to be very hollow and shallow.
Oh, damn. So we're talking the exact same kind of role, the exact same character type, like over and over again. We talk about dozens of times?
Basically, yeah.
Jesus, I can understand that would get boring real
quick.
There
just wasn't... You had, every so often, you had interesting projects come up in this community, but it was very much the same kind of thing. And because they were all, like, people that were young, say 13 to 15 doing this, there weren't that many people that sounded older and authoritarian, so I would just get that role all the time.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That kind of makes more sense, yeah.
Like, people will actually come to me and sit down and say, hey, I need you to play Commander Dude. And I'm just like, I'm done with Commander Dude.
Hey, Ivan, I got a role for you. It's a commander-like dude. You interested?
Fuck no. Okay, yeah, sure. Like, it can be difficult for me at times if there's not much fun to be had with a role. Like, if you go ahead and tell me that I can play something that's a little bit interesting, like a goon or something, that'll be fun for me because I can play it up a bit like, hey, Johnny, we gotta go ahead and move before Batman catches us. Like, that is a bit of fun for me. And I recently auditioned for the Joker for something. And that's fun because you get to go ahead and invent yourself a little bit and be someone crazy and sort of see what you can do to sound villainous and crazy all at the same time.
Holy shit. Incredible. So tell me, I should have asked this earlier. What are some of your inspirations, your role models for voice acting?
Ooh. Now that is an interesting one to bring up. As far as like actors themselves, I always have the most respect for actors that can change themselves without doing much. Like, there are certain actors that to me, they don't change their mannerisms. Well, they do a little bit. They don't change their voices. They don't change their accents. But what seems to change about them is their soul. Like, the best examples I can think of are a British actor who is sadly no longer with us called John Hurt.
Oh, John Hurt. Oh, I love John Hurt.
Like, he had just such an amazing way of having the same voice and accent, but seeming like a different person underneath the skin.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
It's such a unique thing. Like, there are incredible actors like Gary Oldman that can change themselves radically on the outside. Like, go ahead and go from someone like Norman Stansfield, who's just like this crazy motherfucker, or even someone like Winston Churchill, for example, who goes ahead and has this sort of very old man effect to him underneath all the makeup and so on. And then you go ahead and do like that guy that had the weird haircut there, and like I don't know, that thing that was with the woman with the red hair who's in the skimpy outfit, and Bruce Willis.
Red? Are you talking about Red?
No, not that one. It was that.
Oh, Six Elements. Six Elements.
That's the one. That's the one. That movie right there, I can tell you that movie is the closest thing you'll ever see to Western media having a full-on anime. It does feel like one. Chris Tucker, that's the one. Can't go ahead and confuse black people like that. That's racist. But, yeah, they can go ahead and do a lot on the surface level to change themselves, and that's amazing. But if you go ahead, I'm still talking this accent for some reason. I'll roll with it. But if you go ahead and are able to do that without changing that much on the outside, that is incredible. I can't think of too many actors that can do that, but one voice actor in particular is a lady by the name of Jen Taylor. If you are fans of Halo, you know exactly who I am talking about. She is the voice of Cortana, who has this amazing sort of emotional range and presence that she can put into a character like that. And she's also played... Cortana is very strong, very sassy, and at times also very vulnerable. Then you have that on another level with Zoe from Left 4 Dead, who she also played, which is this vulnerable, frightened, and tiny little bit of sass coming through. So similar, but it feels so different at the same time. You do not feel that strength in the same way. You feel more like desperation, like Survivor trying to do everything they can. They don't feel like someone that has everything under control and knows all the answers. They feel like someone desperate. And then, one of my favorite roles of hers is playing the villain. This is kind of spoilerish territory for a series called Ruby, so maybe you don't want to see it, but it's been a few years now, so fuck it. But character by the...
Wait, Jen Taylor was in Ruby?
She went ahead and did narration work originally for like the opening of the very first episode, and then for informing like little informational episodes. And then she plays the villain called Salem. And she has such a cold presence to her that is fucking amazing. Like, I love it.
I need to go listen to that now. I did not know she was in Bloody Ruby. That changes everything.
It does. Like, Ruby is a show with flaws, but I love it just because it lets Jen Taylor do her thing. Like, it is amazing. Like, I want to see her in more because she can, when she gets into her beefy role, heck, she doesn't even need to have a beefy one. She can just go ahead and do something amazing with it.
Aye.
There are also other actors out there that I respect. Like, one that's a bit newer on the scene. Well, he's been around for a while. But a man by the name of E.K. Amati. He's played characters like, what's his name? Locke in Halo 5. Not a big fan of the game itself, but I have to respect that man on so many different levels. Like, he is someone that even with stupid or stuff that you can't take seriously, he gives his utter respect to a role. I remember seeing this sort of behind the scenes look in of a game called Infinite Crisis, where E.K. Amati played a DC villain by the name of Atrocitus. And he took every single aspect of that character, worked it into his energy, and just gave it the utmost respect. More respect than the source material deserved, if I'm frank.
Damn.
And it was amazing, this thing, final product he came out with. We just came out with this sort of deep, demonic, sort of hateful voice, full of anger. And it was something to behold. Like, he's an actor you definitely want on your team because of just how well he does everything.
God damn.
After that would also be an actor that many people would not know over in America, and fewer people over here in England these days. A comedian from the 80s. Well, not really a comedian, a comedic actor. And he would go ahead and do things like write sketches and stuff, but he was never like a stand up comedian. But he was a guy by the name of Ronnie Barker. And before he went ahead and did TV sketch shows and such, he started off in radio. So everything started with the voice. And he impresses me in a number of different ways because he feels like one of those actors that does what Gary Oldman does, where he changes on the outside, but also does what John Hurt does, where he changes on the inside. So you go ahead and like see him in the certain roles. Like he didn't do it all the time, but you could go ahead and see him play one character and he would feel completely different to another character he played. And actors like that get my utmost respect because I can never do that.
Impressive. Very impressive. My goodness. But there is more to voice acting than just the voice actor behind it. There's also the tech and the audio editing behind it. And if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, you have some skill in audio editing.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's many different things that you must consider when you're going ahead and approaching things from like a technical side. For example, I cannot do some of the voices that I am able to do if it were not for some methods and time and resources that I have put into learning how to use Audacity and different ways to go ahead and manipulate the voice digitally. I speak German now because that sounds more intelligent. But yes, I know how to sound like many different robots and many different sort of aliens. What I do is I try to reverse engineer many different sort of what we call voice filters, which are sort of ways of modulating the voice in post-production to go ahead and make you sound completely alien to what you originally sounded like. For example, manipulating my voice to sound like the Shadow Broker out of Mass Effect 2. Or a more common version would be to like take my voice and make it sound more like a Transformer out of the movies. Like, for example, you have Hugo Weaving, who played Megatron in the 2007 version. And his voice started off like, "No, I want 2 pieces." And then through modulating, it goes in and sounds like, "No, I want 2 pieces."
Damn, Jesus! You didn't even use modulator. That was damn. Sorry, gotta stop fanboying.
Yes, I have a certain gift for that kind of thing. It helps me out when I go ahead and edit my own stuff, but I am also able to do that with other people. For example, one that people would quite remember fondly is the Scarecrow sections from Batman Arkham Asylum. One thing that I did before this interview started is I asked Mr. Ryan, a rising star in the ranks among the voice actors here.
Oh, stop! Don't even.
You've given me 100 compliments already. I had to give you at least one back.
Fair enough. Continue.
So I asked Mr. Ryan if he would go ahead and record a little something for me. And I went ahead and then gave it a little bit of an editing twerk with it to make him sound as if he is something fearful and terrifying.
Wait, I'm not already?
Look, son, we can't all be terrifying and, intimidating in our own ways, but, sometimes better off just being who you are. And if what you are is a pathetic little wuss, then so be it.
Yay!
Don't worry. You're not a pathetic little wuss, you're just Canadian.
Wait, what? There's a difference?
Oh, yeah, there's, the pathetic little wusses, they can be like, sort of mean, even though, are pathetic. Canadians, on the other hand, doesn't matter, like, big and strong or short and wimpy, they're still great all around us, sort of nice people anyway.
Oi, yeah, you're right about that, eh? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you a few different things about Canadians. Like, for example, did you know that instead of blood, they go ahead and have maple syrup?
Well, that's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
And it's just like how we British, we all go ahead and wear top hats and monocles, and should we need an IV, it's always tea. Earl Grey at that.
With crumpets on the side, my good sir.
Crumpets, absolutely.
But yes, so you do audio editing, audio engineering, and you're able to manipulate the voices to, like, sound completely different. And correct me if I'm wrong. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You're also offering your services for a price for anybody?
Yes, of course I offer my services for a price. But yes, for the simple fee of $5 per person, or rather $5 per character, I could go ahead and make someone else sound completely different. Well, I shouldn't say completely different, different within reason. Like, if you have a voice like mine, for example, where it's a little bit throaty or something like that, or you can make it just a little bit raspy, I can go ahead and make you sound like a Krogan out of Mass Effect. And that's a simple one. The other more complicated thing, like the Reapers from Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a popular one, so it's one I'll be referencing a bit. But I can also, like, for example, I can do a very good impersonation of Reaper, and if you wanted an effect similar to that, I could give you one.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Links to everything Ivan Erection will be in the description and in the comments section. Okay, so one last professional question before we... Okay, actually maybe a couple more professional questions before we move on to personal and get to know you as a person a bit more. I'm curious, I have to ask, how did you meet Pixie? How'd you meet Pixie Willow?
I think the main thing was actually from the incident that began adult voice actors in the first place. The server, I mean. Like, we were both involved in that unfortunate circumstance. I think I might have met her a little bit further down the line. Yes, actually, I think I did, because, like, a couple of voice actors would get to know each other and talk to each other a little bit, just, professional courtesy and just meeting each other through different servers and everything like that and getting to know each other. Like, people would just be like, oh, hey, I know you. You're that guy that turned me on.
Fair enough. Is it the same story with Silky Milk?
I think so, yes. I don't remember having a lot of interaction with Silky back in the day before Ava. I think she was more post-Ava than before. Pixie and Silky have both gone on to become moderators of the server, and they're excellent choices for it. Like, I try to be, like, reasonable and fair with stuff, but I go ahead and take it a bit too far. I've learned sometimes giving people too much leeway. These two are basically ladies that have seen a lot of shit in their day, and they know how to not put up with shit anymore.
True. It's very true.
They are wonderful additions to have, though, because, like, they are very fun, very understanding people. Go ahead and really understand.
Hire them for everything.
Yes, absolutely. Pixie is always very determined to give you the best product she possibly can. Silky, she deserves more of a following than she has. I definitely think that much. She's a very talented voice actress.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Of that, I am well aware and can guarantee.
Like, if you're impressed with the kind of stuff I can do, you'd definitely be impressed with the kind of stuff she can do.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Very much so. So, Ivan, we're going to move away from professional business questions and now ask a few more personal questions to get to know you a bit more. Is that all right?
Well, sounds like that's going to be a bit of a humdinger, son, so bring it on.
Okay, what are some of your favorite hobbies? What do you do to relax, to entertain yourself?
Do I do anything to relax? Let's see. Usually I like wasting my own time. I go ahead and, like, watch different things on YouTube. I am a great big fan of the show called Critical Role. It's gone ahead and helped me get into things like Dungeons and Dragons, which is very fun. I've gone ahead and had a few different hobbies before now. Voice acting is my favorite one. I quite love video games. I feel like they're in a bit of a rut at the moment because not everything feels as fun as it should be. But every so often you go ahead and find a gem that goes ahead and lets you just cut loose with it, and I find that very entertaining. Like, games like The Division 2 and other things beside, they all feel too samey and like they're going for this MMO kind of feel, hoping that they can cash in on big bucks instead of actually being entertaining. That's the main problem with that kind of stuff. But yes, I love Dungeons and Dragons. It's a wonderful creative medium where I get to go ahead and explore different things that I like. I used to be a big writer. And these days, not so much, but I still am creative and love creating things. Often, pardon me, often I will go ahead and give advice to people that are my friends on how to go ahead and write different stories and come up with ideas. I am great, pardon me, I'm a great wall to bounce ideas off to go ahead and help develop things. But
Okay.
let's see, apart from that, I can't really think of too many things besides. Yeah, I'd say that'll probably cover it.
All right, but I'm assuming that you also still play video games, watch movies, television. What are some of your favorite stories, your favorite franchises, IPs?
Well, if I were going to go ahead and start talking IPs, then we need to talk about Halo.
Oh boy.
That is my absolute favorite franchise. All the way from Halo 1 to Halo Reach. Afterwards, things get a little bit muddy. But Halo has definitely been my go to game for many years. I just love the lore about it. Like, it has a sort of minimalistic quality, which is wonderful. Like, you feel there are bigger concepts and bigger ideas behind it, but it has a small lens to it, especially the first 3 games that work so beautifully. Like, one of my favorite examples of great voice acting and a favorite scene for me in any video game is the scene in Halo 3 where Cortana and Master Chief are reunited. It is such a beautifully done scene with the music and the subtle voice acting and a oh so small but oh so meaningful show of humanity from John 117. It is just a wonderful scene that I will never forget. Uh, Apart from that, I have been a big fan back in the early days of the Sonic the Hedgehog games. So,
Oh, that's a surprise. That actually really surprises me. Huh.
different level of quality, but it's a great place to go if you have an imagination and you want to go ahead and find a creative place to begin. Like, Sonic is a ton of half baked ideas. So, if you're a guy that likes fan fiction or something like that, there are tons of interesting ideas you can just pick out of the lot and then go ahead and build into something else. So,
I never looked at Sonic in that way. That's interesting.
well, there's certain thing. What originally got me into writing is this stuff is all crap. I could do so much better. And it was a bit egotistical to think of that because now I've seen so much better stuff than I could ever do. But when I was just a little kid watching crappy shows and thinking to myself, God, this is awful. It really did help me go ahead and think about how much bigger in scope something could be, how much more meaningful something could be. For example, my favorite TV show ever, I grew up on detective shows. So I have loved things like CSI, Monk, Psych, Law and Order, different things like that. My absolute favorite one is one called The Closer. And it is an amazing show to me because it goes ahead and does everything right for me. It has a certain level of humanity to it. All the characters feel fleshed out enough to be real people. And it does a lot with human psychology. Like, you never feel like there's a bad actor in any episode. But it still manages to go ahead and explore its characters and how they work in interesting ways. Like, everyone gets some development across the series as time goes by. It just is interesting. Like, you can feel the thought that someone has put into this.
Well, damn, I have to watch The Closer then.
One thing I really loved about it is how it handled the main character and her psychology. So the character is a woman that originally did detective work in Washington, D.C. She was an interrogator for the CIA and then is moved over to Los Angeles to lead up a new unit. So 2 things happen. One, she is a woman, so there's some stigma from the older males in the group that she's been put in charge of. And number 2 is she is an outsider, so there's stigma from everyone in the group about her, towards her for that. But as the show goes on, you notice a little pattern. When she is like on the shop floor or at a crime scene, she is very much the leader with a face of steel and stern. When she's in her office, she'll go ahead and complain to her direct subordinates about what's pissing her off, about how the team is treating her in a bad way or something, or just That's when she lets out her anger. She doesn't show weakness. She just goes ahead and shows frustration. And then when she's home, she's vulnerable. She goes ahead and shows some of her weakness and will usually like try to de-stress with a glass of wine or a box of chocolates or something like that. And she feels very human in that regard because she's got different faces for where she needs to be. And especially in the interrogation room, because she has this very Columbo kind of tactic where she pretends to be a ditzy blonde. She's like, why, hello there, my name is Brenda Lee Johnson. Very nice to meet y'all. Oh, that's a lovely tie you got there. Did you get that from the Gap? I've been looking for something like that for my husband. Just goes ahead and acts like that. Very sort of airheady. And then she uses that to go ahead and get the suspect's guard down before going ahead and going in for the strike.
I have a feeling you're a really big fan of the show.
You might say that.
I definitely need to check it out now. Holy shit.
Like, it is good. Like, I think it has a lot to do with the producer who was in charge of it. Not to go ahead and discredit all the other people, but I've seen another show from the same producer. I forget what it was called. Longmire, which is a show about a sort of a detective cowboy in modern day Wyoming. So he feels like a cowboy compared to everybody else. Like he doesn't have a mobile phone or anything like that. But so he feels a little bit like a man out of time, but it was a very well done show. It had that feel of everyone felt fleshed out and story arcs and problems would carry on from episode to episode. It didn't feel like, villain of the week or anything like that.
Oh, I definitely appreciate that. I really appreciate that kind of storytelling, yeah.
Yeah, like you feel like you need to watch every episode to fully appreciate everything going on.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, so moving on from IP and franchises, music. What's some of your favorite music? What music do you listen to?
Anything and everything. It's mainly if it just has a certain appeal to me. Like, if there's just something that gets my energy up or gets me thinking, whatever. It just depends entirely on what it is. Like, I will listen to video game music. I will listen to movie soundtracks. I'll listen to swing music from the 50s. I'll listen to heavy metal music. I'll listen to techno. It all depends on the rhythm and the feel that comes with it.
Okay, fair enough. Now to switch things up a bit, can you name me something that you absolutely hate, that you despise?
Well, I'm a British person, so I have to say, the French. I absolutely hate the French. Are you French Canadian? Because if you are, then I cannot like you.
Sacre bleu, monsieur tabarnak.
Sacre bleu cheese.
Wait, did you say blue cheese?
Oui. No. As, what is his name now? Minor Stories can tell you I am absolutely fond of the French. Though my accent is most terrible.
Terrible. Yeah, oui.
But stuff that I hate. Very simply put, I hate discrimination. If you are racist, homophobic, Zionistic, if you go ahead and hate someone for the color of their skin or who they worship, I mean, I'm an atheist myself, and I do not hold that against me. I think that you are a piece of shit.
Oh, so a normal human reaction? Okay, yes. Bigotry, yes. Agreed, pretty shitty. I think anyone can agree, like, not a fan of that.
Yeah. And apart from that, as a writer, even though I don't really think I can call myself that anymore, I am quite not fond of, like, too simple plots. Or I think what a better way would be to be... A better way to be put it would be a lack of human psychology or a lack of human feeling. Like, you can tell when something is just like a last minute idea or something has no heart to it. Like, a great example of this would be The Big Bang Theory. The show overall, I suppose, not so bad except for some obvious problems with it. But for me, I hate the women. I consider myself a feminist, but I hate the female characters in the show because you can tell that they are such afterthoughts. Like, Penny in the very first episode is a completely different character to who she is throughout the rest of the show. And you can tell that they just very quickly thought of something that would be more funny
where she was, instead of being like a damsel in distress girl next door, is that she was a bit of a bitch, or at least was one in a previous life, and is slowly starting to thaw out a bit as she gets to know the geeky guys. And then you have like Bernadette, who is basically feels a bit like every geek's fantasy. A very voluptuous blonde-haired woman who is very pretty, into geeky stuff and science, but is also very meek and small so that they can feel a little bit bigger. And then you have Amy Farrah Fowler in the show, who is literally just a copy of Sheldon. Like, what creativity went into that? It's like, we can't think of anybody else that would want to date this person apart from himself, so we'll go ahead and make a female version of that. It's like, fuck me. It is just me.
Not a fan of the show myself, must admit.
Sometimes it is a little bit funny, but at the same time, try harder.
Oh man, is there anything else? Like some annoyances, little grievances, things that like you irrationally hate that like that's not really a big deal, but I despise it.
Ooh, that is an interesting one to consider. I guess I don't really think of anything at the moment. I sometimes hate how I am not very productive. Actually, no, cut that bit. I should not be putting that when I'm trying to plug myself. I love how I work too much. I hate how I work too much. But that is, sometimes I have that little bit of a problem where I have moments where I cannot work as much as I would like to. I guess it's because I sometimes work too many hours at my work. I usually have long work days, but I try to go ahead and make the most of what I can do, but I find that I do not have all the energy I need for it. Apart from that, I do not think of too much. Like, my main problem is just like people that are unintelligent or unempathetic. Like, for example, I saw an article earlier about a guy who broke quarantine who has the coronavirus. He broke quarantine to go ahead and go to a sort of convention or like something, a business meeting. And I'm just like, you fucking idiot.
Oh my god.
It's like,
oh my god.
How can you be that dumb?
Jesus.
I would like it if common sense was a bit more common. In short.
Yes, I agree. Holy god, I can't. Oh, now that is frustrating. Oh my god, oh my god, that's so. Jesus.
When I see that kind of stupidity, it gets me angry.
It should.
I cannot go ahead and attest to being one of the smartest people on the planet, but I go ahead and look at some of the stupid people, and I feel like it.
I get that feeling. Ugh. Well, to lighten things up a bit after that, so, Ivan, are you ready for some silly bullshit questions?
Son, I've been ready for silly bullshit since 1937.
That's a long time ago. Okay, yeah. All right then. Okay, all right.
I was making memes back in 1928.
Wait, but there was no internet.
I know. I would go ahead and take 37 pictures of a cat doing something silly, and then I just make a little flip book out of them.
Brilliant. So, tell me, Ivan Recshun, how would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
Well, I'd have to go ahead and look real badass now, wouldn't I? I'd have to go ahead and do like something like Norman Reedus. I think I would take the Doomslayer approach. Get myself a big honkin' chainsaw, good big honkin' shotgun, as many fucking guns as I can carry, and then get myself some heavy metal music. Then we have ourselves an apocalypse ready to go, and me ready to kick some fucking ass.
Woo! Okay, well, oh, all right. Yeah, okay. I think you got this in the bag. I think you're one of the very few people who took that question seriously and didn't just say, "Oh, I'll join the zombies."
Well, the zombies can work with me. I'll put them in a catapult and then I'll shoot them at other zombies.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
In
Oh,
pieces that can have a sort of shotgun effect.
oh my God. It's so refreshing to get an answer like this.
Or I can also blend in with the zombies, but
Oh. Oh. Was that a fur ball there?
you tell me.
Woo! Okay. I'm a bit freaked out now. All right. Thoroughly freaked out. Well done. Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, Ivan, it is now time for the most important question in this interview. Okay, this is the eternal debate here. Careful, you're going to be split in the vote on this one. This is going to be a career-determining question here.
I am ready to go ahead and act with all the intelligence, philosophy, and wisdom at my disposal.
All right. So, Ivan, tits or ass?
Well, first let us consider the boobies. A decent pair will be large, jiggly, and perfect for storing items in desperate times. Many women, they take advantage of this and they put their pocketbooks inside of there. They might even go ahead and put a sort of bear trap and call it a booby trap. I've seen Jessica Rabbit do this. Now, you must consider the S. It is most perfect. It's the buttocks. You go ahead and smack it and slap it, it will go ahead and always be ready for another spanking. This is true. I have done vigorous testing of this. And if you need to go ahead and just grab two of them at the same time as you're holding a woman close to you, be it in the bedroom, on the chair, or if you're going to tango or whatever it is in the dance floor, they are great hand warmers. But I have to say, I think the boobies.
But why?
Because you are more likely to fit your face in boobies than you are in posterior. And frankly, if an accident is to happen, well, your face is inside the posterior.
Oh God! Okay, all right. We can stop. I'll stop it right there.
Actually, there.
I don't know. No. We got the idea. You don't need to describe it. I promise.
I was not talking about diarrhea. I was talking about flat.
Okay. Are you happy now? Are you proud of yourself?
No.
Okay. So, boobies it is. Okay. I will accept that answer.
Always, as scientifically proven, you'll go with the boobies. Though I would like to go ahead and add a little bit of knowledge about this, you will find that the reason we like boobies so much is because we like the ass.
Okay. Now that raises so many more questions. What?
Okay, so I'll ask you this question, Ryan.
Okay.
Have you ever thought to yourself, that woman's breasts look better when they were inside of a bra rather than when they were out of a bra?
I've never contemplated that.
There will be some men who have. I know I have. The reason for that is the human brain, or at least the human male brain, is designed to go ahead and seek out the most, let us see, fertile of women. The one who is most likely to go ahead and take a child to full term and give birth to a healthy young baby. What we are looking for is a woman that has the childbearing hips. And for that reason, we like the buttocks. And when a bosom has a bra on it and has the cleavage, it resembles the buttocks. And that is why we find the bosom so delectable.
Huh. I have a lot of stuff to think about now.
It goes ahead and awakens something inside the male that makes him think, oh, I must pounce.
I need to reconsider my life choices.
A similar occurrence would happen inside both men and women when it comes to foreign accents. For example, if you go ahead and find the Spanish accent most sexy, the reason for that is your brain is detecting the fact that this person comes from a foreign land and means that they have different genes inside their body. meaning that a wider genetic gene pool is available to them if they mate with you, and therefore you have a greater chance of having a healthier baby.
Huh. Huh.
It is what has also allowed me to realize, and I'll go ahead and insert a sort of British voice now because we're being even more educational. This is a good thing for male voice actors to know. Women find a particular kind of voice the sexiest on men, and that is the husky voice, like Geralt from The Witcher. You see, if you go ahead and have a sort of huskier voice, it implies that you have a certain amount of masculinity because of the deepness of your voice, but the husk goes ahead and adds a certain degree of an idea that you have a sort of emotional empathy and a caring way about you.
But if you were to go ahead and go too deep with a voice, for example, it would go ahead and seem intimidating, and they would want to back away from you.
Woo! Okay, this is like, I'm learning more from you than I ever did in school.
I am here to teach the science.
Oh man, that question! I just asked you about ass and tits, and this took a whole other direction. Oh man.
Well, my boy, this is what you get when you ask me a simple question. A most complicated response that you didn't even want.
I maybe I did want that, and I didn't even know it, eh? Eh? Maybe this was my plan the whole time, subconsciously.
Well, if that's what you're thinking, buddy, I ain't gonna go ahead and disprove you.
Oh, man. Well, Ivan, we have come to the tail end of the interview, and as you know, I like to do something a little special at the end. How do you feel about asking me questions?
Now there's a most interesting question to go ahead.
So, ask me whatever you want, serious or silly.
Okay. Let us think. Out of all the people you have interviewed, who do you think would be your best chance of survival in this zombie apocalypse if they were to be your partner?
Ooh! That's a good question. That's a really good question. Okay, I really gotta consider this because, like, oh man, I gotta consider life experience. Hey now. Hey. So when it comes to life experience, I know Pixie, Silky, and Borzo, they have tons of life experience. Borzo has like traveling; she does world traveling, so I know she has resources there and like a lot of knowledge there. Pixie and Silky are badasses, and I know they can hold their own. They've been through some shit. So, you took the question very seriously when I asked you, when so many other people said they would give up and die. I know Chekhov is an absolute mad lad, so like I know we could go on some crazy adventures with him. Waver CD. Oh, I know Waver. Waver's a crafty one. Oh, dude, like this is a tougher question than I thought. I need to consider. I need to like create a billboard and consider everyone's skill sets and then contrast and compare. Like this would like have to be a massive project. I'd have to invest time into considering.
I'm now imagining that you sat in your room on just like that guy that is standing in front of the billboard with a pen and just has all those strings attached to different pieces of paper.
Yes,
and you think,
yes.
Who could make me survive this?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I will say your the answer to this question will have to be continued.
Okay. I expect to see one, at least in the description of the final video.
Oh shit. Okay, we'll see.
Okay, let's go ahead and think then. Okay, I'll go ahead and be egotistical and ask a question about you, about me.
Oh boy.
If you were to give... okay. First of all, after myself, pick 2 voice actors just that you have interviewed, just out of the air.
Just pick 2 random voice actors?
Yes.
For what purpose?
You will find out shortly.
Okay, just can be anybody?
It can be absolutely anyone.
Ooh. but I don't know what this is about. So, I'm stressing. What is this? Fuck. Miss Moonified and the Fat Boy Panda.
Okay, excellent. Myself, Miss Moonified, and Fat Boy Panda. Out of the three of us, pick a role, an established role that you think we could play well.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Okay, for you, Ivan, I think like a detective. I think you could totally pull off a detective role, a kind of hard-boiled, intelligent detective. I think Mooney could totally pull off playing like a very spunky teen, someone who's like very energetic, who's very energetic and athletic. And for Panda, I think he could pull off like a kind of like a bartender, like a very down to earth.
Oh yeah, I can see him being like the. All right, here's your whiskeys, and I'd like to give you a little piece of advice to go with that whiskey. Stop cheating on your wife. Because she treats you better than you deserve, you little shit.
And as for Miss Moonified, you could probably go ahead and be someone so super perky.
Very perky, the perkiest.
And hard-boiled detective, I can certainly understand that. But if I was to be honest, one character that I would absolutely love to play at some point in the future would be, for example, John Watson out of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh.
By Jove, Holmes, how do you even come to these conclusions? It's most astounding.
I have also given a try to Sherlock Holmes in the past, but I don't think that I exactly captured the sort of essence of who he is. I think it's very hard to compete with Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch in that regard.
Oof. Robert Downey Jr. even gave a great performance in those
that
movies.
is true. That is true.
Like, Sherlock Holmes, just a great character. So much great material around him.
Madam, beneath this pillow is the key to my release.
I forgot about that scene. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, I need to watch those movies again. Wait, what was the question?
Basically going ahead and asking what roles you thought that me, Fat Boy Panda, and Miss Moonified could fill.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was a trick question. Okay, I see what you did there. Okay.
Let's see. Another question for you, if I can manage it. Okay. I think I have a little something here.
Oh, boy.
You have ambitions to be a voice actor yourself.
At least try. Like, give it a good old shot. I'm not expecting great things from it. Not expecting becoming a superstar like yourself and your coworkers. But I want to at least give it a try because, like, so many of our mutual friends have told me, give it a shot. You have a unique voice and whatnot.
That is very true. What kind of project would you like to be part of?
Horror.
Like
Horror. I love horror.
What did you call me?
What? God, no, that's not what. God damn it. Horror. Scary stuff.
You want to be part of scary stuff?
Yes, I think I could make a good victim. I'm sorry, were you not expecting that answer?
That is a brilliant response. Yeah, you see, you go ahead and do a pretty good job of this stuff yourself, my dear Ryan.
Oh, thank you very much. Like, I'm just, there's no way I could pull off an intimidating killer, but I could easily pull off one of the first people who get offed in the first 5 minutes.
Well, now we're going to have to test something, aren't we?
Oh, fuck.
Go ahead and give me your best murderer. You don't have to go method.
Okay, all right, best murderer. You got to build me a character here, man, or do I have to invent something from scratch myself?
Let's go ahead and develop something with you. This will be a live. Well, no, it's not live. It's recorded. You don't pick me up. Don't you go ahead and say that I am not being honest with you, because I am. Okay, so let's go ahead and be Snooty's director now. Okay, so Ryan, your character, you want to kill someone.
Yes, all the time.
The reason for that is because that's who you are. It's a part of your person. It's who you are. But say, for example, that I am a young, sexy lady.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you being serious?
Yes. And you went ahead and scoffed in my face. Yeah. But to pretend that I'm a young, sexy lady, in all the right places,
sorry.
it must be said,
I'm sorry.
I have been the desire of your affections for many years. You go ahead and ask me out, and I say, no, you're too much of a pity potty or whatever. Like, I just didn't find you that attractive, dear. You're not my type. You're not a Chad. I need a Chad, and you are just...
I'm sorry, don't ignore me.
I need a Chad, and you're more like a Randall.
Keep going. Keep going. Oh, it hurts. Okay. It hurts.
I need a Chad, and you're more of a Randall, darling. So, you are scorned now. You feel full of fury and anger, and you think to yourself, this can't stand. I must kill this woman. So, you go ahead and you get like a knife or something, or a chainsaw, depends on how dramatic you want to be about it. And say to me as you're standing there before me, all threatening and intimidating, this is revenge for what you did to me. Or say it a bit, but don't say it as camp as that. Say like,
okay, wait, let me improvise.
Revenge for what you did to me.
No, okay, with that description you gave me, I can build a character. with that.
Excellent, darling.
Hold up. Okay, apologies if this gets a bit tense and I need to back away from the mic for a little bit. I may be...
If you plan to kill me, I think we should stop.
Okay, alright. Ooh, let me get into this. Ooh, okay. Oh god, my neighbors are gonna freak the fuck out when they hear this. Okay. You fucking bitch! I gave you everything! All I wanted was your love, you fucking bitch! How was that? Was that too loud?
You need more emotion.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
No. I was just pulling at your tail feathers.
Okay. Because I was genuinely going to try that again. Okay.
No. I think we're good, but it felt very authentic. You did well. I believe that you are someone that has a great deal of furious anger inside them. There is a dark person inside you, Ryan. And I want to bring it forward.
Oh my god, you're fucking Emperor Palpatine!
The dark side must unleash in you, young schematron.
Oh, that was so cringe!
Reach out with your feelings. And let the dark side take over you.
Now that was great. Holy shit, you can do a fantastic Palpatine impression.
Well, thank you, young gamer.
Oh god, oh, that's so cringe! Oh man.
It's also true that I can do a decent Obi-Wan Kenobi as he was played by Alec Guinness.
Oh my god, may the Force be with you. Holy shit, that was amazing. Oh,
yeah, thank you.
Oh, man. I think with all of that, I think it's time to wrap this up. Ivan Recshun, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to do an interview with me. I am honored and beyond overjoyed. This has been an absolute pleasure. You are extraordinary. So tell me, if people want to go find you, reach out to you, commission you, follow you, support you, where do they go to do that?
The main two places are Tumblr and Twitter. Twitter is where I'm more active these days. You have Recshun is my Twitter identification. You can go ahead and find me there. I even go ahead and tag myself with hashtag Voices of Ivan Recshun to go ahead and showcase my work. For a little while, I was going ahead and posting samples of different impersonations and sound editing that I could do.
Then I discovered that my audio quality was not the best it could be. It has since improved, and I intend to go ahead and start it back up again. So you have Ivan Erection VA on Tumblr and iRection on Twitter to find me. And if you wish to email me, that is ivanerection@yahoo.com.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Links to everything, Ivan, will be in the description and in the comment section. Please click on the links. So, Ivan, before we wrap this up, how should we threaten the audience with physical violence to go watch you and check out your stuff? What should we threaten them with?
I think best way to do it is to threaten to rupture their eardrums with the sheer amount of bass that I produce.
Oh, shit!
Because you know I'm all about the bass, no trouble.